Ship flap testing hardware gets installed on the flame trench frame at Massey's. Booster 17 is finally being removed from its transport stand at Sanchez. Ship 40 stacking continues with only the aft section remaining to be added at the build site. And Pad 2's new roof is almost ready to be lifted at the launch site.
Hello, my name's Matt, and welcome to RGV Aerial Photography's Starbase Flyover Report, episode 119. This week's flight was conducted on the afternoon of February 19th. The weather was nice and clear, which allowed us to bring you another set of amazing images so that you can keep up with all the progress at Starbase, Texas. As usual, we'll begin at the Massey's testing facility.
As always, here's a labeled map to get you familiar with the layout of the site. Beginning at the static fire area, at the top of the ship testing structure, some new red pulleys have been installed with cables that attach to each side of the three actuators in the middle of the structure. When in use, these actuators will rest on these pairs of horizontal pieces of steel to keep them in line with the pulleys. It is speculated that this could be used to test the forward flaps. A similar system of actuators at the bottom frame will be for the aft flaps. The two squeeze pads can be seen tied back with chain blocks to one of the pairs of triangle parts. The little basket to the side will facilitate crew access prior to an actual test. Also, both squeeze actuators are installed along with the bridging cables. Moving to test tank 39.1, crews appear to be welding parts nearby. This appears to be related to the stand or a change in test configuration. Be sure to tune in for future reports to see updates on this. Additionally, on the 17th of February, S39.1 conducted another cryo test. It's possible that this was the final test in this current configuration. Next to the structural test area, markings have been made on the concrete in the shape of a square. The shape matches previous pads for the transport and test stands, so we may see yet another permanent place for another stand. Shifting to the old can crusher, new actuators have been installed on the arms. A new small accumulator has also been installed on the single vertical post. Moving over to the super crusher, workers are moving the pull-down actuators. It appears that this stand is undergoing a heavy reconfiguration, which will prepare it for its next article to test in the future. Further up on the stand, all actuator mounts have been removed. This includes the mounts on the top ring for the torsion force actuators, the 5 vertical actuators, the 10 angled pairs, and the 1 horizontal actuator at the rear. The main clamp arms and asymmetrical triangle braces have also been removed and are now staged over by the inventory tent. Near the stand, a new ring is being welded with tabs that have odd spacing, with more speculated to be added in the future. This could be linked to the super crusher reconfiguration, so it's something we will keep an eye on in the future. Finally, a quick look at the entry road shows that both sides are now concreted up to the bend, with one side now laid further along. Closer to the site, services continue to be installed. That's all for Massey's. Let's move on over to Sanchez now. Here's another labeled map to help guide you through Sanchez. Starting with the transport stand construction area, this booster transport stand appears ready to be moved out to make way for the final stand to be converted to version 3 boosters. B-17's aft was removed from that booster transport stand on February the 23rd. Work can be spotted on the second ship transport stand with crews installing clamps that will secure the ship. Preparations for clamp install can be seen on the third ship transport stand. A new Star Factory structure is being assembled from the previously spotted Z-beams. The notch on the edge could indicate it is to be a common dome jig for the ship. Pipework for the ASU site is staged here and appears to have been slightly modified. Some new frames are seen in this area. Off to the side, some previously seen frames are loaded onto a trailer ready for transport. Looking back at Massey's, we can see similar style frames staged. Their shape and size seems to line up with the plumbing leaving the fluids bunker near the flame trench. Tell us in the comments if you think that there will be protective covers for this plumbing. Moving to the interface ring, a new set of plates are being bolted to the top surface. These added plates would be welded to the test article. A third concrete slab is being worked at the Tesla Megapack site, allowing more to be installed. Legs have been added to the mystery black structure, and more parts have arrived near the A-frame structure. After 2 rounds of testing at the launch site, this booster transport stand is being worked on. A totalizer station is set up in the center, and parts are staged around it. In the scrapyard, B-18's aft is continuing to be scrapped slowly, with just a few more edge pieces being removed this week. Just before moving to the build site, we would like to thank all of our YouTube and Patreon members. Remember, all of the patrons and YouTube members get to participate in our show and tell sessions on the same day of each flight. Here, you can join in the discussions and ask your own questions. While on YouTube, members also get to watch, listen, and ask their own questions with the live chat function. Not only that, but you also get to participate in our live flyover stream where you get to see the pictures coming in real time, which gives you the absolute quickest access to the new content. But wait, there's more! You also get to chime in and participate with our new show, Starbase Expanded, which airs live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time and just had its 10th episode. Starting at the Gigabay, work has begun to pour the floors for the second level, and just after this flyover, work began on installing the level 4 columns of the building on Friday the 20th. Workers are continuing to paint the building, with work beginning on the side facing the parking garage, likely in preparation for cladding to start sometime in March. Moving to Megabay 2, work is continuing on stacking Ship 40 as Ship 39 awaits rollout for testing. In the last week, its A2 and A3 sections were rolled in for stacking. Its transfer tubes were rolled in on the 22nd, leaving only its aft section to be stacked as of the time of writing, once its transfer tubes are welded into place. This video clip is from Avid Space and was compiled by Vix on X. Beside Megabay 2, the static fire stand is on SPMTs for what is believed to be for a rollout of Ship 39 to Massey's for structure integration testing, initial cryo testing, and static fire pad GSE commissioning. Note that thrust simulator testing is still expected to happen, but the thrust simulator is currently busy with 39.1, and the new static fire stand turned structural stand has yet to be finished. Taking a quick look at the apartment building, work is happening on the front of the building for what could be commercial spaces at the bottom. A new BMX pump track and skateboard bowl are under construction at the rec center. That's all for the build site, so let's move over to the launch site. If you need some extra time, be sure to pause now to browse this week's labeled map of the launch site. Following the first test of the launch mount deck, a limited amount of scaffolding has returned for access to the inner work platform. Fall arresters are secured to the deck around the unprotected areas of the mount in case crews need to access those areas. At the base of the tower, additional panels of cladding have arrived. Nearby, railing assemblies have also been staged. Meanwhile, at the top of the tower, structural reinforcements continue. Gussets at 3 of the 4 legs can be seen attached. Other large and small plates are staged on the middle platform. Assembly of the new roof frame looks to be finished. Many of the panels that cover it are spread out ahead of installation. Near the electrical bunkers, the transformer protection covers are beginning installation after being staged for several months. At the middle of the site, the SpaceX LR11000 chassis and cab is parked following its return from working at the ASU site. Near the mega bunker, a waste holding tank was recently delivered. The excavator is digging a hole marked out in red paint for the tank to be buried. The methane pump farm is complete again, following the installation of the pump and drive motor that were staged during the previous flyover. The basket strainer assembly remains open, with its cover sitting to the side. At the tank farm, integration of the new methane tanks continues with pipework now placed along the top of the valve sleds. Additional formwork along the tanks has been installed to extend the concrete slab between the tanks. Across the street at the ASU, one of the crane pads is being removed, with only the LR1500 remaining on site to continue integrating the main modules. The remainder of the site is largely unchanged, with electrical work continuing to be the most visible. At the Pad 1 construction area, the BG-39 drill rig has been partially transported from the site. Only a few mast segments and the winch were on site, being loaded onto trucks during the flyover. Nearby, the excavator used to remove the sheet piles from the previous foundation is also being disassembled to leave the site. At the new flame trench, sheet pile installation continues past the tower, requiring the chopsticks to be opened like when CFA piles were being done in the same area. Around the tower, another drill rig has been delivered. The exact model is unclear, but manufactured by Christensen and may be a core drill. The D5 entrance road now has a road-based surface and may be ready for use soon. The site expansion continues to make good progress as dirt fill moves east to west. Starting at the east side, multiple layers have already been placed and an area immediately to the side of Pad 1 is being carefully carved into. Further to the center of the site, a travel lane has been completed for arrivals from the D2 entrance where the southernmost edge is being expanded to the west.
That's all for episode 119 of Starbase Flyover Report. Thank you for choosing RGV Aerial Photography, and I hope you all really enjoyed the flight and coverage. If you like what you saw today, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe if you already haven't, and share it with your friends so that you can keep them up to date as well on all the new things that are happening at Starbase, Texas. Please consider joining RGV's Patreon, where you can receive all the latest images and join in on the conversation the day they're taken. I'm Matt, and I'll see you next week from 6,000 feet.